Football is going through a weird and honestly underwhelming transition right now, and some of that can be attributed to the World Cup format changing and the Champions League format changing, but I think a lot of that can come down to the fact that the last 2 decades have been dominated by the exact same 2 players, and you know who I'm talking about when you get used to somebody scoring 91 goals in a calendar season, or you get used to somebody leading their club to back-to-back Champions League titles. 40 goal, 20 assist league seasons are not normal, and yet I grew up with that. Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo have set the bar so high that it's just not attainable for these humans that play football. I mean, they are absolute aliens setting the bar on Mars, and it's just not sustainable for anybody else, and it really shouldn't have been sustainable for them. And even though they're still scoring goals, Messi's tearing up the MLS, Cristiano Ronaldo's still scoring in Saudi Arabia, it's not exactly the same, and it begs the question, who actually is the best player in the world now? But I know exactly who comes to everybody's mind when I say that, which is, of course, Harry Kane. All right, guys. No, seriously, it's supposed to be a for real video, and he's got the exact same amount of major trophies as me, and I became a YouTuber, who you still haven't subscribed to, by the way. What I will say is that because it's not a 2-horse race or one player running away with the Ballon d'Or like it normally is, it's actually pretty fun to debate who actually deserves this, and it's interesting because these final months of the campaign will really matter to who ends up winning this award, because every single player I've mentioned really has a shot at taking this trophy home. Vinicius Jr is the media's favorite to win Ballon d'Or, and he has had a good year, and he has some credentials to back it up. He's got the La Liga title, he's won the Champions League, he's the Real Madrid top goal scorer. You look at that just alone, he's got a good resume for success. But I do have a couple of problems with it. One, when he puts on the boots for Brazil, he's not the same. Maybe it's because Brazil as a whole are lackluster, and that's true. They don't even look likely to win their group in Copa America, let alone get through a tough Uruguay and Argentina in the knockout stages. That's not looking good for Vinicius Jr. But, and I hate to be this guy, you look at the stats alone for Vinicius Jr., and they get dwarfed by somebody like Luis Suarez, who didn't even come top 3 in the mid-2010s for the Ballon d'Or. I mean, Luis Suarez was putting up over 50 goals and over 20 assists. Vinicius Jr.'s got 24 goals and 11 assists. It's just not even close, and that's why we're saying, yeah, maybe nobody does deserve to win the Ballon d'Or. Maybe what we've got to do this year is just give the Ballon d'Or to Lewandowski, who deserved to win it back in 2020. Jokes aside, Vinicius Jr. deserves to be in this conversation, but so do a couple more of his teammates from back in Madrid, like Toni Kroos. Does Toni Kroos deserve to win the Ballon d'Or? He might be in the conversation, but realistically, we have to look at just one season's campaign, and he's been doing this his entire career, but it's been overlooked because his career has overlapped with Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi so considerably, but also because he plays in like a deep playing 8 role for his team, both for Germany and Real Madrid. He's not the one to score the goals all too often, but he's a part of everything moving forward. He's like the engine of the team, and so I feel like he does deserve some recognition. What I will say is that if Germany end up winning the Euros and he does become the front runner, then it would be very awkward for somebody who's already retired to be lifting the golden ball. It just wouldn't make sense for a retired player to be given the award for the best player in the world. I don't think that would be a good look for the sport. It's like when Stanley Matthews won the Ballon d'Or back in the Paleolithic age when he was like 42 years old. Just doesn't make a ton of sense. Roy Keane claims that Erling Haaland has the footballing technique of a League 2 player, and the good news for Haaland, if that's true, is the fact that he doesn't play center mid. His job is to put the ball in the back of the net, which he does quite well. In fact, he might be the best true 9 we've seen since R9. He's incredible, and in my opinion, probably the best player of this generation, but he's not been doing anything with Norway, and I think that's been a big factor to why he's not going to win anything with Ballon d'Or anytime soon. And yeah, he could win an entire treble with Manchester City and not win Ballon d'Or. We've seen it happen before. But when Georgia is qualifying for the Euros, not only that, but getting out of their group, and Norway's not even able to qualify for Euros, we saw him fail to qualify for the World Cup, and a lot of that's not his fault, but it's not like he's got nobody helping him. Martin Odegaard is also Norwegian. It's just unfortunate that he doesn't play for a footballing powerhouse like France, where Kylian Mbappe shines very, very nicely. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, comment down below who you think deserves to win Ballon d'Or. But just like Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe also scored a lot of goals this year. 50 goals and 20 assists, but he also, just like Harry Kane, didn't get the trophy he was looking for, which to Mbappe was the Champions League. And that was also the big trophy that PSG have been looking for a while now, and they just weren't able to get it done. They lost against Dortmund in the semifinal after scoring no goals in both legs of the fixture. Not a great look for Mbappe or PSG, but in his defense, he did win Coupe de France, he did win Ligue 1, which you can argue how difficult really is that with PSG these days. Either way, if masked up Mbappe can make a run in the Euros with France, maybe win Euros, win Golden Boot, I could say that Mbappe is probably the front runner to win Ballon d'Or. But unless he does go far in this tournament with France, it's really still up for debate. No team has ever done what Bayer Leverkusen did this year. 52 games unbeaten, and they did it in a top 5 league as well as DFB Pokal and in the Europa League. Very, very impressive. And they've got some stars in there, Frimpong, Ronaldo, Andrich, Schick, but none stand out quite like Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz is the creator of that squad, and he is the mastermind of that midfield. And he's also shown it a little bit with Germany. He scored the first goal of the Euros entirely, but he's now kind of getting outshined by Jamal Musiala on the international stage at that attacking midfield spot. Sure, there's a lot of games left, hopefully, for Germany, but I think Florian Wirtz deserves to be in this conversation. Over 20 goals and 20 assists in a record-breaking season for Bayer Leverkusen. Now, he's not a player that has really been in the spotlight for all too long. You look at players like Haaland and Mbappe, who have been in the running for Ballon d'Or, but this award is all about 1 year's performance, and I think Florian Wirtz has that 1 year performance to really get a shout at winning Ballon d'Or. There's one player that this video would not be complete without, and that player is absolutely Jude Bellingham, because after his first year of leaving Dortmund, joining Real Madrid, he won La Liga and the Champions League against his former club, which, as a Dortmund fan, it hurt a lot. I mean, it hurt a lot for a lot of reasons, but that part also hurt. Either way, Jude Bellingham has been incredible. He is such a talented midfielder slash, I guess, kind of like a forward now for Real Madrid. Either way, he's got a similar thing going on where Vinicius Jr. left for Brazil and has had some lackluster performances, and Jude Bellingham left for England, and despite scoring that goal in the first game of Euros, England aren't looking great, and even though they're getting the results they need, it is the most anti-football, boring way to do it possible. But I guess as long as Southgate is getting those results, it'll work out for him, and Bellingham is just along for that ride. So Jude Bellingham is one of the most talented players we have in football right now and absolutely deserves to be in this conversation. It's one of those years where you look back at some of the players that finished second or third or fourth in the previous years, and they would have won Ballon d'Or easily if they had that kind of year this year. But somebody has to end up winning it. Let me know who you guys think will win it down in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Nitro Football. I'll see you in the next one.